Hello everyone. What if Kenya followed its constitution? That is the desire as we look at some laws in the constitution that show character and duties required of government officials. This is part 3 and the last part. Be sure to watch part 1 and part 2. In part 3, we will look at 12 of them. Why am I doing this? It is a desire for Kenyans to have a better life satisfaction, and this is described as where GDP per capita, a measure of a country's economic output that accounts for its number of people. It tells you how prosperous a country feels to each of its citizens. It's having healthy life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, social support, generosity, and absence of corruption. Before we move forward, I just have a look at the video that I did that talks about the different cultural aspects that slow down Kenya and Africa in progressing forth. And one of them is a major function of government is to provide money and other resources to other members of society who are in power or have a close relationship to those who are in power. Another video I did that you can have a look is called Colonization and Cultural Aspects that affect how Kenya and Africa runs government. And one of them is that the effects are whiteness is the measure of all culture. White is right, everything else is culture. We judge behavior by whether it conforms to whiteness or not. So let's start by asking, what is a constitution? A constitution is a set of rules that guides how a country, state, or other political organization works. Let's look at 12 of them. Equalization Fund. There is established an equalization fund into which shall be paid 0.5% of all the revenue collected by the national government each year, calculated on the basis of most recent audited accounts of revenue received as approved by the National Assembly. The national government shall use the equalization fund only to provide basic services including water, roads, health facilities, and electricity to marginalized areas to the extent necessary to bring the quality of those services in those areas to the level generally enjoyed by the rest of the nation, so far as possible. Accounts and audit of public entities. If the holder of a public office, including a political office, directs or approves the use of public funds contrary to law or instructions, the person is liable for any loss arising from that use and shall make good the loss, whether the person remains the holder of the office or not. Procurement of public goods and services. When a state organ or any other public entity contracts for goods or services, it shall do so in accordance with a system that is fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. An Act of Parliament shall prescribe a framework within which policies relating to procurement and asset disposal shall be implemented and may provide for all or any of the following: categories of preference in the allocation of contracts, the protection or advancement of persons, categories of persons or groups previously disadvantaged by unfair competition or discrimination, sanctions against contractors that have not performed according to professionally regulated procedures, contractual agreements, or legislation, and sanctions against persons who have defaulted on their tax obligations or have been guilty of corrupt practices or serious violations of fair employment laws and practices. Salaries and Remuneration Commission. In performing its functions, the Commission shall take the following principles into account. They need to ensure that the total public compensation bill is fiscally sustainable. They need to ensure that the public services are able to attract and retain the skills required to execute their functions. They need to recognize productivity and performance, and transparency and fairness. Values and principles of public service. The values and principles of public service include high standards of professional ethics, efficient, effective, and economic use of resources, responsive, prompt, effective, impartial, and equitable provisions of services, involvement of the people in the process of policy making, accountability for administrative acts, transparency and provision to the public of timely, accurate information, subject to paragraphs H and I, fair competition and merit as the basis of appointment and promotions. representation of Kenya's diverse communities, and affording adequate and equal opportunities for appointment, training, and advancement at all levels of the public service of men and women, the members of all ethnic groups, and persons with disabilities. Functions and powers of the Public Service Commission. The Commission shall, subject to this Constitution and legislation, establish and abolish offices in the public service and appoint persons to hold or act in those offices and to confirm appointments, exercise disciplinary control over and remove persons holding or acting in those offices, promote the values and principles referred to in Articles 10 and 232 throughout the public service, investigate, monitor, and evaluate the organization, administration, and personnel practices of the public service, ensure that the public service is efficient and effective. Objects and functions of the National Police Service. The National Police Service shall strive for the highest standards of professionalism and discipline among its members, prevent corruption, and promote and practice transparency and accountability, comply with constitutional standards of human rights and fundamental freedoms, train staff to the highest possible standards of competence and integrity, and to respect human rights and fundamental freedoms and dignity, and foster and promote relationships with the broader society. National Police Service Commission. The Commission shall recruit and appoint persons to hold or act in offices in the service, confirm appointments, and determine promotions and transfers within the National Police Service. Observing due process, exercise disciplinary control over and remove persons holding or acting in offices within the service. Chapter 15. Commissions and independent offices. Removal from office. A member of a commission, other than an ex officio member or the holder of an independent office, may be removed from office only for serious violation of this Constitution or any other law, including a contravention of Chapter 6, gross misconduct, whether in the performance of the members or office holders' functions or otherwise, physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions of office, incompetence, or bankruptcy. Chapter 17. General Provisions. Enforcement of this Constitution. Every person has the right to institute court proceedings claiming that this Constitution has been contravened or is threatened with contravention. Distribution of functions between the national government and the county government. I haven't done all of them. This is just a few and they mostly focus on transport. Part 1. National government. Transport and communications, including in particular road traffic, the construction and operation of national trunk roads, standards for the construction and maintenance of other roads by counties, railways, marine navigation. Part 2. County government. Control of air pollution, noise pollution, other public nuisances, and outdoor advertising. County transport including county roads, street lighting, traffic and parking, public road transport, and ferries and harbors, excluding the regulation of international and national shipping and matters related thereto. There you have it. We've come to the end of If Kenya Followed Its Constitution. So the question is, in terms of character and duties, why don't we follow this Constitution? Join me in my next video as I look at, is it really in the essence of the state to do good things? And we'll look at aspects of the state capture report. That will be part 1. The report, The State Capture Inside Kenya's Inability to Fight Corruption, is written by Wachira Maina, and you can get it in Africog. I'll put the link of the website below the video. Be sure to subscribe below the video and also to click on the bell on the right so that you can be able to know when a new video comes in. Okay, thank you. See you. Bye.